Ladies and gentlemen, I have a little brother. He just turned 11 3 days after Christmas. Now I know what you're thinking. How can an 80-year-old guy have an 11-year-old brother? Well, I have. And this morning I want to tell you about him. On the 13th of May last year, 2011, Debbie Goot gave a speech to this club about some wonderful work that she had done through Rotary, giving underprivileged kids a fun day out. And at the end of her speech, almost as an afterthought, she mentioned an organisation called Big Brothers, Big Sisters, which I had never heard of. So after the meeting, I asked Debbie a little bit about it. And when I got home, I did some research on the internet. And I found that in 1904, a young court lawyer named Ernest Coulter was seeing many boys coming through his courtroom, and he recognised that caring adults could help many of these boys stay out of court, stay out of trouble. So in 1904 he set out to find volunteers and made his famous plea. He said, "There is only one possible way to save this youngster, and that is to have some earnest, true man volunteer to be his big brother, to look after him, to help him do right, to make this little chap feel that at least one human being in this great city takes a personal interest in him and cares whether he lives or dies. I call for a volunteer." And so Big Brothers, Big Sisters was born. And 108 years later, Big Brothers, Big Sisters operates in a number of countries around the world, and it's still doing exactly what Ernest Coulter called for. So I went to see the Big Brothers, Big Sisters in New Plymouth, and I learned a great deal. I learned that there are hundreds of kids in Taranaki who come from difficult situations, whether it be families where there's violence or drugs, or maybe a solo parent, usually a mother but not always, trying to bring up some kids on limited resources. And what these kids desperately need is one caring adult who, even for a couple of hours a week, can give them some fun and laughter and give them some experiences that a lot of other kids just take for granted. For example, going to the beach or going for a bike ride or go fishing. So I decided to get involved, and I committed myself to 2 or 3 hours every week without fail. Big Brothers, Big Sisters say for at least 1 year, but preferably until the child is 18 and beyond. And after rigorous interviews and police checks and references, I was accepted. And then Big Brothers, Big Sisters selected a young boy who they thought I would get on well with. And the date was set for me to meet my little brother. Thursday, the 4th of August, 2011. Now, I think it was a nervous experience for both of us. The case manager, Sarah, introduced me to my young man, whose name is Bayley, and his mum. And we chatted for a while, and we all signed a little contract of what was our responsibilities and what our undertakings were. And then we had the official photo taken. Now, there's no musicians here. The piano was just there, and it was just a good prop for the, can you see that, Hadley, for the photo. And then after that, we both spotted a ping pong table down the end of the room, and I thought, here's my chance. I said, "Okay, Bayley, let's see what you got." So for the next 20 minutes we bashed this ping pong ball around the room, and we had lots of laughter and a great time. And I think we both knew at that stage that we were going to get on real fine. And since that date, we have spent time every week just getting out and having fun together. Now, in the first week, I bought a little photo album, and with the idea that every time we go out, I take some pictures and we get a few developed and put them in his photo album. I think he must have 100 in there or so now by now. And here's just 1 or 2 of the slides that we've taken along the way. He loves biking. If he had his way, he would go biking every day, every year. So we've biked thousands of miles together, along walkways and so on. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. What else have we done? We've been to playgrounds. We went for a walk along the beach from Back Beach to Ohakura a little while back. That's a long walk. And here's a moment. This is one of these what happened next pictures. As you can see, he's deep in thought. He's walking backwards, making marks in the sand. Right behind him is a rock. I'm with my camera concentrating on getting this photo, and I click, and about 1 second afterwards he backs into this rock, goes head over turtle. And I'm standing there laughing my head off, and he gets up and says, "Why did you let me do that?" We went for walks with dogs. Here is the dog taking Bayley for a walk. There's Monkey in the middle. Hard at work. We went for a 3-hour tramp up in Mount Egmont recently to the Waingoro hut from Dawson Falls, and there's a swing bridge there. It's 130 feet to the bottom. He absolutely loved it. And we had lunch at the hut, and can you imagine what a glorious day that is? Beautiful mountain, beautiful setting, just incredible. Here's just some of the things we've done together. As I say, we biked many, many miles. We've been on mountain trips. We've been to Tawhiti Museum. We've climbed Paratoot Rock. We've been to Pukeariki Museum. We've been to Brooklyn Zoo. Pukekura Lights, the Aquatic Centre. He made me go on the turbo hydro slide. Frightened the crap out of me. We've been fishing. I've been to see the Smurfs movie and Happy Feet movie, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Been to the skate park and fallen off a skateboard. We've made chocolate cakes. We built a kite recently and just flew it last weekend. We've been all around Lake Mangamahoe. We've been to 2 kids' shows at the Opera House. We've been walking with dogs. We've been to many beaches. I've thrown thousands of stones in the sea. We have this stone throwing competition, and he said, "See who could throw it the furthest." So we both throw together, and mine, of course, goes a lot further than his. And he says, "I won." And I said, "How did you win?" "My stone went further than yours," he said, "but mine made the biggest splash." And I said, "Well, you can't change the rules." He said, "I can. I invented the game." So I can't argue with that. We've hit golf balls, and tomorrow we're going through the maze at Egmont Village, and we're going trail bike riding, and we've done many, many other things. We have this little ritual. At the end of every outing, we always have an ice cream together, and when I leave him, we have a high five. And we had just a quiet little moment in the car about a month ago. We'd stopped at a dairy to have an ice cream, and we were sitting there licking our ice creams. I said, "Bayley, you know what?" I said, "I have eaten more ice creams, done more bike riding, played more pool, kicked more rugby balls, and thrown more stones in the last 5 months since meeting you than I have in the last 50 years. And he just gave me a big grin. What has this experience done for Bayley? Well, his mother is physically unable to do the things that we're doing. And besides, she has other challenges in her life over which she has no control. She has told me that I'm the only person who can take a real interest in him, who can get out with him and do the stuff that young dudes should be doing, getting dirty playing in the trees and skinning their knees when they fall off bikes. His attitude at home has improved. He is a happier little boy now, and he's more helpful. Less stress for his mother, and their relationship has improved remarkably. I'd like to get him into some organised sport and help him with his school projects. And let me tell you, we are becoming the best of buddies. Sure, he tests me at times. He pushes the limits like any kid does. But he's starting to learn about boundaries now, and we talk about that, and he's responding to that. He's a particularly bright little young boy with huge potential, and I just hope that I can channel that over the years to come. What has the experience done for me? Well, I'm getting out and doing stuff that I haven't done for years. Our biking is great fun, and we're starting to do trail bike riding. It's motivated me. On Sunday, I'm doing the Puakai Traverse. I'm not taking Bayley, but it's motivated me to do that. It's about a 9-hour hike. A couple of weeks after that, I'm doing the White Cliffs Walkway. I'm joining the tramping club next week to get serious about it, and I'm getting fit. And I don't think I would have done any of that if I hadn't met Bayley. Bayley has brought a new dimension to my life, and the satisfaction and the joy that I see in the change in him in the last 6 months sometimes brings a lump to my throat. When I first met Bayley, he didn't smile very much. He didn't have much to smile about. But now when we get out and do guy stuff together, that's what I see. My happy little brother. Mr. Chairman.